What's up, guys? It's Improvised Improvements here, and what we're going to do today, we're going to install this inline chlorinator onto my pool equipment here. And it is a big mess, don't worry. I'll explain what we can ignore and what we actually need. So we're going with the Jacuzzi JAC 50i inline chlorinator, and this is different from a salt cell or a salt generated chlorinator. In that you fill this with tabs. It's not generating chlorine, it's just running water through it to more effectively use and disperse the chlorine. So the first step, make sure your pump is off, which it is, but we're going to pop this open here, make sure that's switched off, and then take off the timer, the trippers on the timer, so that the pool filter doesn't turn on while the glue is drying. Now, I've got here everything I think I'll need. I don't have a big enough PVC cutter, hence the saw, but I should just need the chlorinator, a saw, I might need the PVC sleeve, and then the PVC glue. So now that we've got those off, we're going to pop that closed, open up our air relief valve so that it drains all of the water out of the filter. And then we'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, once that stopped hissing, we went ahead and shut it off, and we unboxed what we've got in here. So these we're not going to use. These are if you have 1.5 inch plumbing. They're adapters. I have 2-inch plumbing. And then these are only for if it's not generating enough chlorine, you can reroute the tubing to the top to get more water flow through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look. You can ignore all this off to the right. This was not done properly. This runs our waterfall and our spa. It should all be on one, but it's not. So we have the pump goes into the filter, and from the filter it comes back out and straight back into the pool. And you want your chlorinator to be the last thing before it goes into the pool. So if you've got a heater, it goes after the heater, it goes after the pump, after the filter, after everything. You want it to be the last thing because you don't want that high chlorine to be killing, your equipment. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure there's at least 6 inches first, and then we're going to cut in 2 spots to make space for that chlorinator to go in. And the reason we have to cut in 2 spots and not 1 is because there is a fitting in there has to be space for, and water flows into there, and that's what gets the chlorine going into the water. So I'm going to take my little hacksaw, and I'll see you guys in just a few more minutes, but it'll be a lot quicker for you. Alright, just like that, we've got this out of here. I did have to go into the garage and grab a different saw. This one was a little too small for what I was doing. It made it really difficult. I highly recommend grabbing a large diameter PVC cutter instead, but if we had all the proper tools, this would not be improvised improvements. So I'm going to break up these dead weeds a little bit, clean out any gunk that's in there from cutting, just kind of deburr with my fingers. And you don't have to worry too much. You're not going to clog any piping with this stuff as long as you get most of it out of here. And don't worry about the water. That's going to happen. You're never going to get the pipes completely dry before you cut them. So just grab all that out of there. And then I'm going to dry these off. And we're going to see if we can fit that in there without having to cut here. The reason I grabbed that extra sleeve is because I might have to cut here so I can spread these apart a little bit better and get that chlorinator in between there. Alright, so just like I was worried about, I can't fit that onto the pipe without cutting it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to cut it right here, and then once I get the piece, the chlorinator on there, I'm going to put the sleeve over that and glue it all back together. So what I ended up doing, I ended up cutting over here because I feel like this having play up and down and side to side is going to be a lot more likely to allow me to get that on there than if I had cut over here. And if I mess something up over here, I've got enough laying around that I can rebuild it, because we don't use this booster pump anymore. So if I have to, I can just take an elbow I've already got and a piece of PVC and fix that there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to dry fit everything, make sure it all fits together and it can all get together with the cuts that we've made, and then we'll glue it up. Alright, so here's how it looks all dry fit. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this apart, and then I'll take that red hot blue glue, that's what the PVC glue I have is called, and I'll rub it on the inside of this, on the outside of the pipe, and do that on both sides. Squeeze this together as best I can, and then come right back over here and do the same on the sleeve. So glue on the inside of the sleeve, on the outside of the PVC pipes, and then pull it over, force it together. And the reason I'm doing it in that order is because if I put this on first, I'm not going to be able to get this on. Alright, so I've kind of jerry-rigged up a phone mount for you guys. So you're going to take your PVC glue, mix it around a bit, make sure there's nothing thick and kind of already set on the top. And then we're going to go right over to the pipe and go all the way around. And this is one of those jobs where you can be sloppy. You're not going to clog up anything inside pipe this size. So you want to make sure you've got plenty on there. And then same thing for the inside of the chlorinator. You just want to make sure you're not getting it into that tube there. I don't know if you can see the tube on the inside. I want to trip on the hose here, but you don't need quite as much on the inside of here because you did put quite a bit on the outside of the pipes. So just a quick layer, just enough so that you know it's going to seal. It's going to have that all the way around. And another thing to note, it will have a flow direction on there, so we have to install this chlorinator this way. Now here's the tricky part. I believe I did this side first. There we go. And then spread it out a little bit and squeeze it together. Give it a couple of extra twists just to make sure all that glue is sticking together in there. And then same thing for where we made our cut. We're going to do our repair. Now where did I get this? So glue all the way around the outside. And this goes for just about any PVC repair you guys are going to do. This isn't just pool stuff here. You can get this red hot blue glue at Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, depending on where you are in the country. We don't have that out here, but I know a lot of you guys do. It's like $5 for the little can. And for anyone wondering, the chlorinator, the one I chose, it comes from Leslie's Pool Supply. It's about a $100 chlorinator, but they go on sale a lot. I think I picked this one up for about $60. So $60 for my pool to actually get decent chlorine. I've been fighting algae like crazy this year. That's what made me buy it, because I want to make sure I've got good chlorine in the pool year round. My floaty ducks just don't do the job quite as well as they used to. Now this is the tricky one, and excuse my bright Crocs, I have a broken toe right now. This one, force it on there, and try to get it back on there. There we go. Alright, that actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. Alright guys, so here's how it looks installed. And I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but this PVC glue that I use, it does take 24 hours to set. So I'm not going to put any chlorine in here yet. When it is time, you just pop this open, drop, I believe this one holds 7 or 8 tabs straight down in there, close it, and the gasket on here is pre-lubed, but it does come with extra gasket lube for when you need that. So if it starts leaking out the top, it most likely just needs to be lubed. We've got the on-off chlorinator valve here, so I'm just going to set it to off since I'm not using it yet. Leave those trippers off for at least the 24 hours. I was going to say you can throw the trippers on later, but I'm actually not going to do that because the first time you run this filter again, you're going to want to open up that filter air relief valve and bleed off all the air, because this is full of air right now. Your pool's going to start making jacuzzi sounds if you let that happen. With all the air in there, it's going to blow it all through the pipes, and it's just not good for the system in general. So that's about it, guys. That's on there. Like I said, 24 hours, and then we can run it and see how it does. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to try to upload a video every week, so I'll see you guys next week.